installed peel and stick crown molding in my rental apartment almost 2 years ago. Here's how it's holding up. Hi everyone, thank you so much for clicking to watch this video. If you're new here, my name is Sandy and on this channel we talk about pursuing a career in interior design and I give you home decor tips. Today's video is on the home decor side of things because I'm giving you a 2-year review of how the peel and stick crown molding is holding up in my rental apartment. The way I'm going to structure this video is by answering your questions. I've gotten a ton of comments over the years about this product and I pulled out the most common ones. I have about 10 of them. I'm going to go through and just answer your questions. Then I'm going to go over the pros and cons I listed at the old video that I did. I also give it a rating. I wanted to tell you guys, do I stick by those pros and cons? Would I still do this again? And do I still give it the same rating that I did before? All right, the first question is, this isn't really a question, it was just a comment I got a lot. The manufacturer sells outside corner pieces. Yes, you guys, I know. I know that the manufacturer sells outside corner pieces. That was not exactly what I wanted. Let me explain to you why I chose not to get the outside piece and why it might work for you. Here we go. Up here was the outside corner area that I could not get a cap on. I said in my previous video, I wish that there was a way to end that cap because I had no intention of taking the molding around to the hallway. This is not a full room. There aren't 4 walls that I did this around. There was only 3 walls that I did this around. So because of that, there's not an end cap that doesn't go snake around the other wall, which is what the outside corner does. If you're going to do all 4 walls, then it would just close in on each other and you wouldn't have any of those open spots like I did, but it ended up not bothering me. Honestly, it's been up for almost 2 years. I've never even really taken a look at it or noticed it until it was time to film this video. So this is an outside corner. This is what it looks like here. You just put it on the outside, literally like this person is saying. So as the wall juts out as it's making a corner on the outside, you would then snake this piece around it to cover that up. That is not what I had. The situation I had was this. I did not want to wrap it around this hallway. I just wanted this to cap off and end. I didn't want to bring it around and I didn't want to put it on 4 walls. I only had 3 walls I wanted to put it on. So because of that, it was just kind of left hollow. If I'm going to be honest, I barely even noticed that. It's been 2 years and I really only noticed it to film this video. It mostly looks exactly the same. Not even mostly. It looks exactly the same. Nothing has fallen down. Nothing has come down at all. Nothing has shifted. Even the spots that were lifting just a little bit stayed exactly like that. So I suspect that the spots that I have that are lifting just a little bit, at first I thought it was me incorrectly applying it, but now because I live in an older apartment, I think the walls are just warped and not straight in that way. So that's why there are these little parts where it lifts, and honestly, even that didn't end up being a problem. Next question. What are the measurements of my room? Okay, I actually just measured the room right before I did this video, so let me tell you guys. My room I have 3 walls that I did it on, so I won't give you the full square footage of the room because that wouldn't make as much sense. The big blue wall that I did it on is 17 feet. The sliding glass door wall with my curtains is 13 feet 5 inches, and the wall where I ended up putting my TV and my bookcase is 14 feet 2 inches. If your ceilings and walls are flat painted, will this tear off the paint and drywall when you remove it? Eee! Okay, that is a good question. That is a very good question, and the answer is I have no clue. I don't know. I highly recommend buying an outside corner piece, inside corner piece that are less than $5, trying it in a small area in your home, and then leaving it up for about a week, then taking it down. If it does take it off, you can probably just use some spackle and some paint and repair that area, and now you know, hey, I really don't want to go through with this product because it's taking it off. It's damaging the walls, and if it doesn't damage the walls, then you're good to go. This one's more of a comment than a question, but I wanted to address it for those of you who are in more permanent situations. Caulk may help hide seams. This was a good suggestion. I considered caulking, and the reason I didn't is because I'm in a rental and I didn't want to damage the walls in any way. Caulk isn't super damaging. I think if I had done it, I would probably just have to go through and sand that area of the wall, retexturize it because my walls are pretty textured, and that probably would have done it. So if you want to do caulk, go ahead. I chose not to, but in the future, if I choose to do this again, I might try caulking a small area and just seeing how it turns out, because it definitely will damage the wall a little bit when you take it off, but it might be worth it if you're able to just repair it and you don't mind the labor. If you're in a more permanent situation, like if you're living in a house that you own, or your landlord is okay with you doing it, then go ahead, caulk it. Caulk the seams, caulk it to the wall, and it's gonna look probably a lot more polished and better. Give it a try. If anyone does, let me know. I have popcorn ceilings. Can this adhere to the wall? This is a good question because the kind that I bought adheres to the ceiling and not the wall. It just kind of lays on the wall. And my ceilings are plaster ceilings. And when I take it down, I suspect that it won't damage the plaster at all much. And also, if I look at the ceiling now, just because it's so ununiform, if it does take off a teeny bit of plaster, honestly, you probably wouldn't even notice at all. If you have popcorn ceilings, it's likely that, because popcorn ceilings are generally more delicate, it is probably likely that it would take off the popcorn ceilings a little bit. So I would give this person the same advice I give the person who wants to use it on flat paint. Buy an outside corner, an inside corner, a small piece, test it out for a week or a month if you want to, and take it off, see if it does any damage. And if it does, and you're in a rental situation, you can't get rid of your popcorn ceilings, then I wouldn't go forward with this product. This one's more of a comment, but a helpful comment for those of you who watched the previous video. I called the company and they said that the wall adhesive only comes with the 4-inch and 4.5-inch size molding. So for those of you who haven't seen the previous video, I highly recommend going to watch that. I purchased this type of molding for my room. This one right here, the 2.5-inch Easy Crown molding kit. That was 52 feet long. That is what I purchased. And mine I was able to just, cut it with scissors for what I needed. Then you peel off the top of it and you adhere it to the ceiling. The question asked by that person is referring to this bottom tape video that I found on the Easy Crown Molding website when I was installing my molding. See how the part of it that adheres to the wall, let me show you, let me go back. The part that adheres to the wall, so you rip it off like that, and then when you go and you put the ceiling part to attach to the ceiling, it does, and this part attaches itself to the wall. Mine did not do that. There are actually gaps in my installation. Can you use this to frame out windows? No, absolutely not. Do not recommend 0 out of 10 for framing out windows. No. The reason I don't recommend it for this is because it's very flimsy. And I suspect the reason it doesn't move from the ceiling is because you're never up there. I'm never touching it. From the day I put it up to now, I've never even touched it again. I don't know how it would hold up if I was constantly like banging it, touching it, moving things around it. And with windows, like this window that's by me here, I'm constantly taking the window up, down, pulling blinds down, curtains, and that constant friction, I don't believe that it's strong enough to withstand that. Perhaps you might want to try foam molding, but I definitely don't recommend this for that. Someone else asked if you can use it for baseboards. Nope. No. I would try it for windows before I tried it for baseboards, but don't try it for either of those things. It is not suitable or durable enough for either. Now it's time to tell you if I still agree with the pros and cons I listed out 2 years ago. The pros I listed 2 years ago were that it was lightweight, renter-friendly, easy to install, and relatively inexpensive. And honestly, I still agree with all of that. I really do. I didn't have to use any tools or anything like that. It was only $100, and I didn't even use all of it. Ooh, someone else asked me, I'm gonna throw that in there, how many pieces it came with and how long they were. I got roughly 15 pieces, and they were all 52 inches long. And that was with the specific one that I bought, which I will link down below. But that's relatively just so you know how many pieces it comes with. I don't know if the different sizes of molding come with less or more pieces, just letting you know how mine came. Oh, you know what I would add to this? I would add an additional pro of long lasting. It's been 2 years and it has not come down. It hasn't budged at all. So that is an additional pro. It's going up and it's staying up until you take it down. I'll let you guys know if it damages the ceiling or the walls when I take it down. I don't think it will, but you never know. The cons I had listed were that it was hollow at the ends, the seams are somewhat visible, and some of the parts of the molding lift off the wall. So now that I have had this product up for 2 years, I would say I would take off being hollow at the ends as a con, because it was user error for me. I'm still happy that I did not go through with putting molding in the entire room the way I showed you guys in the beginning. I simply just didn't want it in those spaces. However, if I had, they have the outside corners and the inside corners. So they prepare for people to do molding in a room all the way around, which is how molding is normally done. So it being hollow at the ends, I don't think is a con. I think that's just me using it the way that I wanted to versus the way it's intended to be used. Seams being visible, honestly, I don't notice them much. I really, really don't notice them much. They are there, and they probably would be less visible if you caulked it, like I talked about in the beginning. But they really don't bother me that much. And honestly, if people are coming to your house going, "Oh my God, there's seams in the ceiling," then they don't need to be your friends. You need to keep those people out of your house. It's fine. No one's ever said anything. It looks fine. And for what the product is, just understanding that it's a renter-friendly, removable, temporary, ephemeral product. I don't have the same standard for it that I would if it was professionally installed crown molding. So the other con I listed was that some parts of the molding were lifting off of the wall. I guess technically this is still a con. I suspect now that it has been up for 2 years and hasn't come down, that the parts of the molding that were lifting off of the wall, they're still like that. They are still lifting, but they haven't lifted more. Like the way they look when I installed them is the way they stayed. And I think that's just because the wall itself isn't fully flushed, not because the product is wrong. But the thing is that if you had professional molding installed with real wood, they would either account for that with some kind of filler, paint, caulk, and it would look seamless and all pretty and polished. This product can't adapt itself in that way. So again, have the standard for it as a removable product that looks good enough, not the standard of actual professional crown molding. So I guess technically that is still a con. And now the rating. 2 years ago, I gave it a rating of 8.5 out of 10 and said that I would do it again. Now, I probably give it an 8 out of 10. Would I do it again? Yes and no. For myself, no, because I think my style has gone a little bit more modern, so I probably wouldn't want something that's crown molding. I might want like a flat molding, if molding at all. But for people who do like crown molding and want that more finished look, especially if you're living in an older apartments that have, you know, the not flat ceilings and the textured walls and the carpet and the brown cabinets, those tend to not be finished at the top. So this definitely gives it a more polished look. And if I had a client who wanted something like that, and they were like a DIY friendly person, then I would be like, okay, I recommend this. I've tried it. I probably wouldn't use it for myself again, just because my style now, as it's evolved, doesn't align with the way that the product looks now. But yes, so like yes and no, I would do it again. And then the 8, I give an 8 out of 10 versus an 8.5 out of 10. And I take that half point off. Honestly, just because I feel like it. Just because I feel like it's just because my style has changed, and that's where that 0.5 is coming from. Versus, because I wouldn't do it in this home again. I would just do it for somebody else, and I wouldn't do it in my new home. You know what I'm saying? So because my taste has changed, that's where that 0.5% to take off comes from, or that 0.5 point comes off to take from. But 8 out of 10 is still pretty good. Still pretty good for a rental product, and still pretty freaking affordable, you guys. So if you haven't tried this yet and you're nervous, just give it a try. Especially if you can just buy a tiny little inside corner piece, stick it up on the ceiling or the wall and see how it fares after a week or a month or however much time you want to give it before taking it off to see if it damages the wall. Thank you so much for clicking to watch today's video. That concludes the video. I hope I answered all your questions. If you have more, please comment them. I will be answering them. You can also see the full installation in the video. I'm going to link it down below, and also might pop up here somewhere. And like I say at the end of all of my videos, Beyonce said, if you like it, put a ring on it. I say, if you like it, subscribe. If you like it, then you should subscribe to it. Ring, subscription, that's all I need. All right, like 90% of you guys who watch my videos are not subscribed. What are you doing? Why are you playing the field? Commit to me and my channel and holy matrimony. Comment a ring emoji down below if you have stuck around to the end and you have subscribed. Let me know that we're in a committed relationship. Let me know. Bye.